Good night. Good night, St. Martin. Yes, and welcome to your favorite online internet program, www.sxmtalk.com. Of course, I'm your host, Christopher Emmanuel, and as usual, we're going to have a very interesting program for you this evening. I have a very good friend of mine, practically I can say a mentor of mine. He always, how should I say it, congratulate me and always give me the big ups and always tell me, continue doing what I'm doing and the good works. So I can always say that I rely on the advice and the critique of this good gentleman, this good friend of mine. So call a friend, call someone and tell them to log on to www.sxmtalk.com because we're going to have a discussion about St. Martin. We're going to be looking at, how should I say it, both sides of the island, making comparison about the status on the northern side and the status on the southern side. We're going to be looking at the differences of the government apparatus. We're also going to be talking a bit about the community and how things are looking now that both sides of the island seems to be in this new governing accord, this new status. I'm here with my good friend, Mr. Raymond Heiliger. Yes, my very good friend, good buddy of mine. How should I say it? A confidant, as a matter of fact. Mr. Heiliger, thank you very much for being on the program with me.
The pleasure is all mine. The pleasure is all mine.
Like I said, right, he's a very good friend of mine. He go way, way back. He know my whole entire family on the northern side, from my mom, the days from in Mullet Bay, the taxi drivers with my aunt Tootsie, and my uncle Victor Paines and Hans. My whole entire family, this good gentleman knows. He has been around a very long time, from way, way back in the days, organizing associations and getting St. Martin people involved in knowing what is their rights and how should I say it, loving their country. So I'm glad to have him here on the program. And like I mentioned earlier, we're going to be talking about the differences. We're going to be talking about, you know, the outlook of our country. So we're going to get right into it. I'm going to give him the opportunity just to say a few words because I know he's one that tunes in most of the time. He looks at it. He has his short stories on Facebook. He's doing a lot of stuff. Let's listen. Raymond, thank you.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Christopher, and it's always a pleasure. I've been looking at your program for quite some time, and I admire the move that you young guys are making. Walking in the footsteps of your mom. You know, she was very much involved in the different movement, and I remember her. She used to be working with Junior Lake and with the newspaper when I were involved with the Mother Bay Employees Association. That goes way back, and from then, you know. Like they say, your boy are here, still watching the movement, watching what's going on. There's a lot of good things. St. Martin isn't that bad. It's come a long way. It's come a long way, but we hasn't gotten there yet, and there's still a long way to go. And I think the younger folks have to shoulder the responsibility because we expect the younger generation to be more enlightened and more educated and smarter than us. We have try our best with the circumstances, and we need you all to take us to the top.
That's why I say I know tonight we're going to have a very in-depth conversation. And you said something a while ago that we are not there yet. You know, we have some more to go. We still have some more trotting to do. But are you pleased thus far with our stance and the position that we are in the new state? Are you pleased? Or you would say things could have been different?
Definitely. And we could have gone much further. And you never get a position in life where you're totally satisfied. That's it. There's nothing more you could do. But definitely we could have been, when you're looking at the situation, we could have been a lot further. We have gotten the necessary instrument in hand. Just take for an example with the French side, but we have the right tools, but we're not working those tools the way that we should. And I think that is one of the things that is very interesting for a tradesman to have good tools. A tradesman without tools can't perform a good job. But when you have a tradesman that don't know his tools either, could be dangerous.
Just as devastating.
Just as bad. You know, it's just like they say, if you have a very good book and you don't read, it's no use to you.
But Raymond, let me ask. And listen, I can't address you. I'm going to say Mr. Heiliger because that's how I always address you. You know, the respect. So let me dig in your brain a little and pull out some of this information from way back because I want to stick on the part of, you know, we could have been much further. Right now, here you are talking about the 70s and the work that was put in terms of bringing St. Martin to the forefront and letting the world know about this little country. Many people today in your generation would say we have gone backwards. Many people would say back in those days, you know, we brought St. Martin out from the darkness and to the light, and the people of St. Martin was known, was recognized, was hard workers, and today they would say we have gone backwards. Would you agree with that statement?
Actually, if you stand still in a situation where everything else is moving forward, then you will have the impression that you've gone backward, that you're reversing. There's no stand still in this situation. What happened in St. Martin, we started and we moved pretty good, but then everything else developed, and then we remain stagnant. So but you can't reverse, but it seems that you're reversing because you're not going forward. You know, like I use the illustration many times. I say, well, movement is not enough. You have to be going someplace. You know, because you could sit in your grandmother rocking chair and you could rock all day back and forth. But I won't take you to Phillips.
But you're not moving.
You're moving.
You're moving, but you're not going
You're not
nowhere.
going any place. So actually, you know, we're moving. You know, we're rocking, and you can rock yourself to sleep. But you have to be going someplace. In order to go someplace, you've got to have a project. And this could go on. Maybe we jump a little too fast into it because we started to set the base of the outline. But you see, one of the dangers of politics and political parties is that when a political party comes to tell you have a program, watch out. Because that is just a program. The program is limited to 4 years. What we need is more of a general project for the society. Where St. Martin going to be in the next 50 years? So it's going to take more than your term in government to get us there. But at least that has to be set by the mass of the people. That have to be presented. The people are presented, this is where we're going. We're leaving from here, and we're going from autonomy to independence to whatever. But you have to have that stretched out, and so many. And so then, when the various parties come, they won't have to just present a program. You're going to see which one going to apply best this project that is set for the island. But the project has to be set. But you can't go by 5 year from a program, and when this party gets in, he change around the program, start back from zero. You will never get any place. We have to come together, set a project, what St. Martin going to look like, and that is for both sides. So that come together of a consensus that there's certain things that we definitely we will have to do together, and we can't each one go our separate way.
Are you satisfied? Are you satisfied?
From that standpoint, no. You can never be satisfied because it's not going the way. Everybody's trying their best, but you can't, because the day that you get satisfied, then that's it. You just take you and bury your 6 feet.
Then look at it this way. Are you optimistic? Are you optimistic that the future for St. Martin is bright, or that we have some serious tough times ahead of us?
You have to be because that's the thing that keep you going. If you're not optimistic and you don't have hope, then you just forget about living. You're no reason. You have to look towards the future and be optimistic. Now, you're not optimistic, and maybe you can't put all your hopes and the elected leaders or the politicians, but you have to put your hope and the resources at St. Martin. We can do better. And if you have people there that are not going to their best, then there come a time that you have to wake them up. And if you can't get them wake up, then you change them. But you always have that hope. But you have to look forward and say, hey, definitely there is better along the road. And there's certain ways where they can be good. There's no government that is perfect. And when you compare, you take for instance, you compare what's happening on the French side and the Dutch side. Now, I listen to you guys all the time and critics, and there's a lot of things. But I from my standpoint, I'm saying that things are being done. I mean, you all have a parliament. People could decide. You're going places. Maybe you won't get there in a day. It's going to take you a couple of years to get here. But I'm still from my standpoint looking. Maybe you were too close inside of this to see it, and it's not going fast enough for you. But compared to what we have been, and what we are today, I think, yeah, there is progress.
You're my good friend now. But here's where I have to challenge you and say to, I can't agree with that statement, because let's take it from your point of view. You are talking about movement and things that you have been doing with the Mullet Bay Association in the 70s.
Yeah, but let me just put this whole thing in focus. You see, all things being equal, as
One
I
of
say,
the first taxi stands that came about was because of your person back then. But look at today.
So we don't know. So we haven't. So you know what? The way I see it different to you, because you have to give me that opportunity, because and I know that the way how you see it, you want to see this thing happen in a rush, because you didn't. You just maybe have an idea of where we came from, but I could tell you where we came from. Okay, but what happened? In the course of that, somewhere somebody went sleep on the watch. We got a time. We got lenient. No, we started. We also, So, like for instance, when I look and I think I wrote something on that compared to when we had this Pelican issue, and then I was hearing people talking about this 6-month contract. I said, but I thought that was solved already, you know. But it's not that we went backward, but somebody went sleep on the watch. Somebody didn't do what was supposed to be done, because these things was advanced. We were striking. We did things with the different labor movement, and somewhere I guess things went well, and we get in that comfort zone. That's why you see. In the movement, we always used to say you always have to remain alert to what's going on. You would have a strike, and then they would come and say, okay, we're going to give you a raise, and we're going to do this, we're going to give you some promotion, and this is going to be good, and you're happy. Yeah, okay, that's good for now, but that don't mean that you have to go sleep and say, oh, man, we are set, this is it. We don't have to be looking out, because some way, when then they're going to raise taxes here, they're going to raise this here, so you're never going to be. You think, for instance, just simple. People are making, when I look at the money that are paid out, and then that's going to be, I remember looking at a program, you had an expert in finance, and he would tell you about on that, the thing of inflation. But let me try to break it down in a very simple domestic form of the economics. Today, we make more money than we used to work for yesterday, that's for sure. But it seems that we still have less money in our pocket. Why? Because there's a lot of things that we didn't have to pay for in those days. Let's make a list. Today, did you have to pay for internet? It's a must. You must have it.
You have to pay for it.
You have to pay for internet. But it's good. It's good. You got it. You have to pay for your telephone at home, your landline. Because if you don't have a landline, you don't have an address, you must have that. Then you have a cellular. But your kids want cellular too. Your wife need one. You know what I mean? And if you have a maid, must have, you know. So that is more expensive. Then I look at certain things that we used to go, and it's going to sound a little redundant, because I think I mentioned it before, but it shocks me. People just buy a line in a supermarket. You know, so coming from we didn't have to buy line, so that extra expense. You know, we just go and we pick up a few lime and we put on the fish, and
in Rambo we had a trend to pick buy lime.
You're buying lime now, you know, and then that's just to name a few, and then people have to. By the way, everybody have running water. That's a progress. But you're paying for water. We didn't have to pay for water.
No, you had pipe stands.
You understand? You go by the well. You got your cistern and you're cool. You got to pay for water. Then on top of that. No, that water, they tell you can't drink that water. That water ain't good, boy.
They had stopped you from building cisterns.
They stop you from building cisterns first. They catch you with that, no cistern. So you get running water. Say, okay, got to run water. You're going to take your shower, and you're going to drink some, and you're going to, whatever you have to do, screen it. They say, no. You can't drink that water. We're going to give you bottled water. So you pay for bottled water now. You understand? Yeah. And I mean, there's just a few other things you go. So that's why you can't have no money. You know, because there's more things to pay for. Then why? So you're catching in the system, and this. So you think you're free, you ain't free. we're free from slavery, but you got to get up every morning and you got to go out there and hit that job because you got to make that money to pay your bills, to pay this, to pay that. And it's for those who can find job, those that can't find job, they wait. So you make you a slave to that economical system, and that's not the specialty of the night. But just to give you a little hint on some of the things, people say, how come we got less money now? Everybody must have a car. When they have the car, they have to put this on the thing. You have to give your kids, they have to wear the latest shoes. And you get catch up in the system that you never could work for sufficient to suffice all your needs. So you have much more needs now than you had in days gone by. We used to walk at Malady, you buy food and you buy some stuff, and there's a lot of things you didn't have to pay for in those days. Today you have to pay for them. So the small increase that you get is not sufficient to cover. So you can find yourself in that indebtment. So I get the impression that what happened there is that we haven't gone backward, but we have stand still. And due to the fact that everything else is moving, the price moving, everything is evolving, it seems like we get left behind. And that is the problem. So it's not only a responsibility of the government; they have their share to do of preparing and then awakening the people to certain things and leading us in the right direction. But a lot of it have to do for our own conscience. And I think what you guys are doing of getting that information out and involving the people, get them to start thinking for a while, thinking of, hey, let's reason, because we do these things. Mechanically, you get up, you do this, you pay for this, you do that, you don't stop and say, wait a minute, am I supposed to do this? Can I do better than that? You understand? And most of the stuff you see, the Caribbean island hasn't changed much. Can we refer to it as a plantation economy? Mm-hmm. What do you mean by a plantation economy? Is that everything we do is for outside. Everything that is owned by outsiders. And in those days, we would grow cane and whatever it was to export, and for our own consumption, we had to import. You've gone back to the same system. Everything that you consume is there. So what we provide now? Okay, we produce Smile and for tourism, and we take care of. But then most of the hotels, they're owned by outsiders. They put the captain there here to make money, so we don't have that love and interest. So the day they feel that they are not making money, they close down and they fire some of the people, whatever, because it's controlled by outside interests. And this is the thing we have to stop thinking and say, well, maybe if we have smaller units and they're owned by local groups, can we go much further? We have to think of taking the economy back in our hand and being less dependent on what happens outside.
But I like how you said that, because now you're coming around to my train of thought, and I could appreciate the fact that given the youth that we want things done now.
Yeah,
we want to see things.
The urgency. The urgency of now.
We want things to happen because we look at the world. We don't just look at St. Martin. We look at the world and we see things moving, and we see things progressing, and we say, but what's happening with us here at home, And you mentioned where, probably we're gonna have smaller units, probably this, but I would say, and I would go on record and say that governments on this island, both sides, has done a great injustice to St. Martin people in terms of not preparing them to hold on to what they owned. Everything is outsourced. Everything is gone. I can remember growing up, and every corner I walk in Marigot was a local shop. You had a handful of Chinese at the time. Okay? And in Boise and all of them, they were all local. That's who I know. But look at today.
You see,
look at today.
Okay, so that goes back to say, what the government, what we refer to as government, because it's a whole maybe different definition of government. But when we're talking about the elected representative, the government will come back as the people, is government of the people, for the people, we the one that elect them there, and various definitions like that. You see, sometimes it's their responsibility, but you got to try and understand their motivation of doing such a thing. When we had when Sanadin, you got, and this again, you want to permit me to go back a little, when we
Sure,
had
sure.
nothing at all.
Sure.
And we blessed those leaders and politicians for the vision that they had of saying, listen, let's go into tourism because this thing don't work for us. We talk about picking the salt and stuff, but we couldn't remain doing that all the time. Then we did a little agriculture, raising, and then we had a lot of drought and things were difficult. So in order to get the market, we have to go into tourism, which was a great thing. But in tourism, nobody in those days was thinking of building a hotel room, or, so we had to depend on, again, outside investment. But that doesn't mean that you have to remain there. You understand? You come in that, and they start off a thing, and you take Mullet Bay. Mullet Bay was the end thing in the days. Where are they today? You see? But what we didn't do sufficiently is to prepare ourselves that the day that this investor don't find any more interest, that we could take up the load and carry on. That people must be well prepared and don't just continually go back to this plantation economy where we're waiting for investors to come to do this, and the investors don't come and we can't do anything. The investors are going to come, and they're going to take, because they're going to bail them out, they're going to take our tax money. You're going to say, okay, write you off, and you're going to take
tax break and everything.
So it's your money, they're taking. So why you couldn't take that money yourself and invest it? Because they're not. You get the impression here that when you talk about investors, that maybe it used to happen so, but investors ain't people who just come with a ton load of a suitcase of money and put it on the table, and they just go in on speculation.
Yeah.
And they go on and speculate, say, okay, but we're gonna make them pay more for this, we're gonna make them do for this, and they go on. The gentleman was on here, but this is going to make a longer discussion.
No
you
problem.
talk about, we can't, we don't touch it tonight, but just to mention, remember he mentioned the fact of the Rothschild. Rothschild, okay?
Yeah.
That goes
Emilio Calmena.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
You talk about that.
The banking, the Rothschild banking system.
Okay, but that is a whole thing that we're going to take several programs and specialists to explain the whole thing of the IMF, because it's what was placed on that is to set up a world government to control. So actually it's the finance that control the government. It's not Obama. It's a joke. I mean, those things are great, but it's that capital that control the world. But this is a very difficult to maybe we could simplify it and break it down. But we don't have to fall victim of that. That can go on. It's not going to change it, and we have to stop saying, yeah, it's the financial situation about the world. I just think back and say we went through 2 world wars, and people on these islands were supposed to die of hunger. They survived. Our grandparents, they survived during those times. And so I could tell you, because I came at the age of after the war, was they call the baby boomers, So, but I get that. You see, we were born in a privileged area where we were able to look at what's happening now, live what's happening now, and look back on what went on before. That's what I'm saying. And contrary to, which I understand your movement and the younger folks, hey, we want change now and right away, okay? It don't come that easy. So, but we could understand and we be that patient. But the reason why all of these things are happening to us is because we get in a comfort zone and we stop really trying to own a thing, save our money, invest in this, do some things on own, just depend on everything to be imported from us. I'll give you the reference with the line, but even a place, I come from a place like Colombia, people go in the supermarket and buy mangoes now. You know what I mean? Everything they leave, you go, you buy water, you buy this, everything but you could develop something for yourself. People forget that kind of way of living, of surviving. So I'm saying, we get so dependent and comfortable in that area that if there's a 3rd World War declared, well, then you're going to have people that are going to die of hunger.
Let me tell you this, and I'm listening to what you're saying, right? And I agree with our comfort zone aspect that you'll put it in. But Mr. Heiliger, the Middle East is on fire today. Okay? Whether it started from Tunisia, to Algeria, to Morocco, to Libya, to Syria. The Middle East is burning today, and the youth are upset, and they are angry with governments. We even had the big riots in England. one of the biggest strikes, grève, happened in France.
All over, that's a common thing.
And when you look at the age group of the people conducting, how should I say, I would say civil disobedience. It is young people, it is youth. And they are angry with the old-fashioned, myopic way that governments are running the countries. They're upset. And I am telling you that we are not far from it here on St. Martin with our young people. Would you agree with that statement?
Of course, because not only that we are exposed to it, but the fact that the information is a thing that travels so fast and so swift that the least little thing happening is we know about it before things would happen. But you're seeing it on so you tend to repeat what you're seeing happening outside. That's why it's a greater charge on the government now to be more alert on what they're doing and of putting things in place and getting the people involved in their own progress. Now, progress don't necessarily mean, because there was a time when all you have to do is to say that you're going to bring in some investor and you'll provide jobs for your people. Now, I think most of the people now, they want a little more than jobs. You know, they say, well, yeah, but jobs, we tired with jobs. We want to have something where we could do a business. We want to own a thing. Give us a chance to we want to work for ourselves. So this is a different attitude, and it's very difficult to please that young people. And you have to provide something else for them. No, we have to provide a way of means of saying, hey, listen, we are giving you opportunity to own this, to do this, to get invest in this, and one way we like to say, our people come first. Our people come first in the sense that you have that dialogue. We say, listen, this is the way we like to do. What you think of this? I think it'd be better that the people get involved and own some of whatever this action, whatever we are put on display before we could call for some capital from outside, which is not any money. It's just virtual. It's virtual. It's not any. They go and the bank send money that they own, because I go back to the reference of what you guys were saying, because these are things that I've been making some research on. That what is money? You got more. You just print a piece of paper.
Yeah.
You know, the price of its value. You go, you invest here, and we just go by that. But we have more than money, because we have asset. We have our knowledge. We have some of us still have our land. We still have we have our foot on the ground. So we could still. It's something that is tangible. Whereas the money of the investors come from, he just come with an IOU or with a bill of note that the bank will give him so much credit, but you don't see the money virtually. It just they're the same old money that keep transaction from one hand to the other, and then when you look, most of it goes back outside, and we mean you're holding the empty bag. You need to do things where more of when you got fresh money coming, more of it is captured and stay here and create a richness for the people. But how are we going to go about that? You're going to go by that by getting involved in some of the privileged business that we are letting outsiders come and do, but get your people prepared to take up these various things and to defend your people. So you don't have that interest in your country anymore, because you don't have anything at stake. Most of the people at St. Martin's, they don't have anything, so they say, well, when a person is don't have any asset, they don't care anymore.
No ambition.
They don't have anything, because you're not building up and giving that mentality. Our parents
and there's where I
us,
said we have gone back, because that's not how we used to be.
Of course not. But I still refuse to use that terminology, because we didn't reverse, but we stand still. But I come back to the same thing. But we didn't. We stand still. But that's what happened. We stand still, and But because if we can't, to go back. Sometimes people like to say, and that's a whole debate. I get them to people say, well, the good old days. Well, that's just a myth. Because those days was pretty hard. It wasn't all that good. But I'll tell you what's good about it.
But it was good days.
I'll tell you what's good about it. It's we and our mind, because we didn't have the stress that we have today. In spite of the, now we got more comfort, but more stress.
You think so?
Of course. No, because I mean, Look, we are here, and look, we're here. We're speaking to millions of people that are on the internet. I mean, you didn't have that privilege before.
Okay,
You know, we didn't have that privilege. You look at a lot of things that were not there that you couldn't express. So we still have to be thankful for that. But where we went wrong is the time that we lagged and we didn't take advantage of what we have to move on forward. And I think, in one way, there's some of the young people that come into that consciousness by what you're doing here. Start thinking. Start thinking, say, but suppose we try to do this. I mean, it's only so and so could have owned a radio station, or could have a TV station, or could have do, and you wasn't getting that. And so we ain't gonna go on that because we are conformed only to do one thing. You want to be, they will come in, they will control you. They tell you, well, you want to have this, you have that standard. What that is to keep you down. And you can't have somebody because but you're not.
Now I'm starting to agree with you.
You don't have to be like, you have to be like, for not for you to exist, someone come in and say, but look, you're not broadcasting, you're not like CNN, so close it down. But we don't have to. This is our thing. This is we think. So we could do it. And you give us, so you're getting your word out. It might not be touching as many as the others, but you're going to get there, and you're going to get the message. And you'll have this inter-reaction, because you use that influence. Like there's something that a great leader, Winston Churchill, the one say. He said, "Don't exist nothing that called public opinion." You see, what exists is published opinion. You see, because we make the mind of the people. You go out there and you start talking about the thing long enough, and somebody gonna start hitting and then you move the mind. So why we permit others to do that, and we were not, because you went sleep on your watch. You were not doing. You didn't have the Christophers of the world. You had to wait until Christopher come along to start doing it. We remain dormant, and some of the things that we know, we keep it to ourselves. I've talked to a lot of people and they say, but so and so, this is the way this went down. Some people are well privy to certain information. Now, I'm not saying that you have to go and broadcast government secret, but you could say, hey, some of these things here that they're doing, this is not right. You could see something. But a person hold his job, he have no means. If he go on a radio station, they're going to put him off, they're going to close him off, they're going to do this. Yeah. You have more of a liberated young people now that hey, I mean, we are independent.
And technology plays a big role.
We own our own business, and we're going to talk, we're going to do this. We have to be submissive because you're afraid of what the boss is going to tell you tomorrow. Say, yeah, I hear you on the radio station, and last night you said watch yourself because you're talking against my clients, and the next thing you don't have a job. You know what I'm saying? Or they would retaliate against your kids or whatever. So you always live in that fear. Now, you have a younger generation that is fearless. They're fearless, and so there we are coming to, so we were dormant. And somebody go back to the reference of the of the Bible, biblical. We are very Bible believing and Christian minded community, and you use the reference of that when God bring the Israelite out of Egypt, they stay 40 years in the desert going around, but there's not a big place, the promised land was there. But maybe we were not ready to go in the promised land. Yeah, so sometimes I look at the 74, coming back to the... I'm saying, so maybe this preparation was necessary because we brought, you had, and they refer to that, I think when he was talking with Obama, they talk about the Moses generation and the Joshua generation. Because Moses was the one that lead them out of Egypt, but Joshua was the one that take them into the promised land. So we are saying we did our part. We we fall asleep on our watch a little, but maybe for a reason. We're waiting for guys like yourself and many others that went abroad and got the knowledge and see things, and they want things done here and now. And you need that type of generation to get things moving. So we're not. I see it as hope. I don't see it as despair. I know you look at it from your angle. You say, hey, this thing should have been moving and move. It's good. It's good to have that kind of fire in your belly. To hey, we want to move because that's the only way you're gonna get things moving. We did that part. Because I could tell you, but it goes maybe with age when you have that. Now you come back and you start reasoning, and you get and say, well, maybe we can think this thing over. Let's leave it until tomorrow. You guys come say, no, let's move it tonight. It have to be done now and again. And there's where we pick up and we start moving on.
Like I said, now I'm starting to agree with you because you're speaking along my lines.
I know how to get you to agree before.
Yeah. You're speaking along my lines now, you know. However, right, when we look at the situations today, every generation blames the one before. And here you're going to get this generation that are technologically savvy. You know, like you said, you're in the studio here with us, and many people would believe it's a glory, but you've seen what the production looks like. Anybody that logs on can view this all over the world, right? We still feel that today our leaders are still stuck in that time that you're talking about, and they are holding us back. They are holding us back because they are still keeping the information that is opening the doors for Joshua to take us to that another level. For example, let me ask you this question. Let me pick your experience and now your expertise. Because, like I said, when I want to be level, I would say, Mr. Heiliger, let's talk. Who holds the power? Who holds the power? Who is the decision maker? Who is the head honcho? Who's the man? Who run things on the northern side of the island? We have elected officials. We have a president. We have a collectivity. But to me, they have no power. They can't get nothing done. They don't control nothing. They can't make a decision. There's nothing tangible that the collectivity can say that they are doing, that the people in them say, hey, look, this is what they're doing. However, when the superfed does something, it gets done. Who holds the power?
The power is held by in a democratic system by the people. Now, the elected official is definitely much stronger than the administrative, the prefect. The prefect is placed, one telephone call, he could be out of there tomorrow.
From whom? A telephone call from who?
The politician is the one that holds the key. Okay?
Okay.
But then the thing is, he hold that key. But maybe he have to know that he hold that. If you have power and you don't know you have that power, it could be a problem.
I don't think they know they have that power.
I think maybe
they don't know they have that
power. I hate to think that they know. No,
man. You can't disagree with me on this one.
No.
I don't think they know they hold that power.
No, I won't want to how should belittle their
I'm not belittling. I'm not doing it.
No, I'm going to try to be as politically correct as possible, and bear with me. I'm thinking that maybe
you see why the generations does fight.
Yeah.
Now I could have shown myself back in the days. If an elder folk was saying this, you would be like, no.
Yeah, but I know. But
let's move it. Now you're telling me to say it the right way.
We went through that. Then I'll tell you. Let me explain something.
So why you can't leave me be like how you used to be in the 70s?
No. Listen. If when I was 20 years old, I were anything different to a liberal, I would be really not suiting my age. But when I get over 40,
you see,
I have to become conservative because of the fact of what I've seen and where I've reached. You have to bear with me. You come on the scene and you say, hey, we got to move. But we're looking at the same thing, but we're looking at it from different standpoint. No, I'm saying, I don't want the message to get out there and that we are saying that people misconstrue things.
I agree.
And I could say I can't say that those I don't believe because and there's a saying that if you're either stupid or you're crazy. You can't be both.
You could be both. You could be right in between.
You can't be. And I that's proven because if your mind is that weak then that's a stupid person. If you the lack of knowledge and the stupidity, then you can't do crazy thing. It's usually people who go crazy, people very smart people, because they break that. But it's a thin line between the
That's what I'm saying.
the thing to do crazy things. So I'm not saying they don't want to be crazy, but they're not stupid. So not to pass to be somebody crazy of saying, let's get up and do this now. They are being sort of dormant, so they're hanging in between. But that's not going to take them anywhere. I'm not saying it's the right way. But then you have to try to understand, because when people, when they tend to, when they get elected, they don't look at the people that put them there
Anymore.
as their strength. Not even they look at them, but they don't look at them. But they forget us. They now look at to the prefect, the higher supervision of government. That's the strength. So there's the one that they have to obey to. But you have to stand up to these people, because when you understand the process, the strength comes from the people. So it is giving more power to our elected officials. Somewhere along the line, they're afraid to be with the use the thing on the French side. Say we won't do that because we are mise en examen. We are do. But you got to realize that when you look at the struggle of most of the political leaders, and that's all over the island, where they started having elected local people. There was a fight. It was a fight because they had to stand up on the side of the people. When they come in, say, okay, come here now. This is where things are being run. Don't worry what the people say. This is the thing. You want to hold your seat there, this thing, everyone. You have to be strong enough, very strong, to defy that. And then you keep your people informed that many times they try to, I would go back and take a little example.
So you're saying that
Let me give you an example that happened in my lifetime, okay? We had dead and gone over, but he was a mayor for many, many years, Dr. Petty. That was like the eyeball of the people in St. Martin. He came, the one local doctor, and they loved him. People would die for him. And we did some good, something he didn't do, and whatever the situation was, but he was limited as a mayor. But there's one stand that he take at a certain time. And there was a minister that came here, and he stood up to the man and explaining that they were letting down St. Martin, this, that, the other. The speech was on the internet sometime. I said, that guy said that in those days, and we didn't went further than that. But he was brought to order. He was brought to order. The next day, when I read that, I was in Guadeloupe at the time in the army, and they told me, hey, boy, had a revolution in St. Martin. Dr. Petit insulted the minister, and he walked out. And the next day, he had to send a letter of apology to apologize. That's the way to talk to a minister. You know, I sure if it was a Christopher, he would never apologize. He would have sent him flying.
That letter wasn't coming.
But it was so we still adhere to some, because imagine when we were colonized for so many years. Now we got our freedom of speech. There's things that we could do. We still has that kind of a reverence and respect, and say that we can't do this. So in order to stand out on these things, you have to know where you're coming from.
Mr. Heiliger, I know you was coming, okay? And I know that you can articulate right from off your head. You didn't need me to present no questions, nothing. But I am looking at the organic law. I am looking at the Constitution. And I specifically picked out one thing, because it's an issue right now. The organic law says that the collectivity under Article 74 has the competence to regulate driver's license. I'm not the one saying.
That's one you pick up. But there's there's many other things like that. But
but look at the situation today. They're still saying we got to wait for France. But your organic law that you put together, you talk about a manual earlier.
So that was going back to the reference that we made off air. I go further than that, because when we realize. And I happened to sit on some of those committee meetings preparing for this 74. We had the organic law, and we said, well, we're going to take it. There was modification, because what we have now, they was giving us something worse than that. And we changed it along the line, and we say it wasn't so easy. and say, okay, let's take it like this, and we're going to modify it as we go along. There's provision that you could go. That's why you have representative now that we elect a deputy, we have a senator, and that's their role to modify and to change that. While Louis Council was there, he made one change, the modify just proved that it could be done, but there's a lot that's still left behind to be modified. But apart from that, let's set aside that, because that has to be done on you have to set the system, you have to do that on an ongoing basis going forward. But the key thing that was lost in this whole 74 is that preparing for 74, we write a manual. Time for time I go back and I look at, and we had a whole thing outlined where we taking St. Martin. Hey, we got this opportunity, and this is what we're going to do. We're going to do this with the Dutch side. I remember I have a picture, and I'm going to put it up on Facebook sometime, where you have, and I don't think I came out in that picture, but I was there in the moment, and we had this unity march. And I look back, the Honorable Prime Minister, Sarah Westcott, was there. The deceased Vance James Jr. was there. The deceased Hamlet was there. Look back at some of these people and say, boy, a lot of those people died, boy. So it's a lucky thing I wasn't in that picture. Anyway.
What year are you talking about? 2000?
That just before we went to the 70, when we went to 74. 5 years.
2007.
2007, yeah, but just before. But I would bring it up. I got the picture, the article, the whole thing with the whole and that unity march. And there's one guy that was there to pronounce, and he's in government today. But I think maybe he won't even repeat that. And he talk about a unified St. Martin. But in those days, you didn't have a prefet there. It was only St. Martin people among themselves. But once they get, so we write this manual. This is what we write this manual. This is where we're going to do. And as soon as we get what we and there, we're going to sit down. We're going to talk with the Dutch side, because the Dutch side, they were going towards the countries and Martin, and they've come a long way. I mean, you tell me what you want. You might not agree with them, but I find they've come a long way. You have a parliament. But you're coming the parliament. I think when the parliament went in there first, there was a little wet behind the ears. They didn't realize, hey, this is us, boy. We could really do that. But they're coming to it now. Some of the moves and some of the things I'm listening. They're coming. No, they take a little time. I know. But we seen they're coming to it. They're seeing the power. They're seeing where they could move. I mean, they move around. One member of parliament jump and he move over here and he turn around the whole government. Hey, he said, boy, that could happen, boy. He didn't realize that those things could be done, but they come into, and they're seeing the power that they hold and they will. Okay.
But St. Martin people are still hurting.
With
all the power that is there.
I understand that, but we're going to come to the realization that power, you could use it to wheel and deal. You could also use it to help your people. But maybe it's going to take a little time to get there. But the key thing I'm going back to is this unity thing, and not to lose the train of thought. This unity thing was a coming together, how we going to sit down, so it's a whole manual was written. And then we went into election, and they forgot to jump in the government, and they forgot the manual. It's like you have this new sophisticated airplane, and you know sometimes that I don't know, nowadays they'll have the cockpit shut off, so you don't see what the pilot is doing there. But I fly in small plane where the thing is something, the fellow look in the book and they check in. I said, what they checking there?
and the plane flying?
The plane flying, they checking, and he checking something where he's supposed to, how much he chopped the trend there. You go to the doctor, and the doctor check you out, and then he see him go in some big black book, and he look. Nowadays they don't use the book because they have computer, but they check in and say, boy, this fella have that, I wonder, let me check. And he checking out to see what medicine gonna give you, and what, because he checking the manual. You buy a new TV nowadays, you got to check the manual. Use time. I personally had to try to set it up on my own, and when I can't work, then I go back and read the manual. But these people went in government, and they forgot the manual. We write a manual, say, when you go in, this is the first thing you're going to do. We're going to broaden the tax base. Everybody going to pay a little bit. We're going to put it on all the commodity products and everything and make it. So whether a fellow live in St. Martin, whether he there legal or illegal, he going to still contribute because he going to put it on top of his consumption pay. And things will be along, and that will raise enough money. We started, we said, but everybody was kicking up against the turnover tax. But then we find that the turnover tax was a milk and cow. You could get milk, so what, so if you put you in a place and you have cows, and you're getting milk, you're going to count the cows? No, you're going to take your milk. So we see this milk come and we say, okay, we're going to, and the guys get in there, so the first thing we're going to do, because we have that autonomy of setting, they say, no, they look for some complicated other tax, that they try to put a tax on number plate that never work.
Never work.
They come to put another road tax, never work. They come to put what they call it a TGCA, it never work. So I say, but these fellows specialize in things that don't work. Whereas that you put, no, but so I'm not blaming, I'm not blaming. I say, well, what happened to them? So I get the feeling that once they get elected and they step in there, is some disease that those get, and those get, so maybe what we have to do is we have to try to do something, that before we get elected, do some of the thing ourselves. Or at least take the manual.
That was my question. This is one of my favorite quotes, and I've said over and over a lot of time, and it comes from Frederick Douglass. Frederick Douglass said, power conceives nothing without a demand, especially if that demand is coming from a constituent, okay, a weak constituent that have lost their testicular fortitude, that has no balls. Who's the constituent? The people. The demand. Okay, we got to make that demand because we have the power. So why don't we pick up that manual and go and knock on government door and say, listen here, this is how we're supposed to function.
You see, because somewhere between our younger days and the different movement, we become somewhat dormant in our comfort zone.
Yeah, but
and then you permit government to like
just run wild.
No, I mean these guys. They whatever they give you, you say it's blessed. So okay, yeah, but you take for instance the situation on the French side right now. You just had a change of government, and somebody said, but yeah, boy, this guy went in there, and he said he ain't got no money. So boy, we can't expect nothing, We can't expect nothing because he ain't got no money. But you don't think they didn't know that before they get it? Because this guy was in opposition.
Yeah.
So they had to know that they had no money, and then you have to think on some way, a means of getting it. And they said, no, elect me, we can find a solution. Now you get elected and you're saying, no, there's no money. So the people already fall in a comfort zone where they're saying, yeah, but what we could do?
But how you going to fall in a comfort zone of not having money? The people them should be up in arms because this gentleman said, elect me and we're going to find a way we can get it done.
Yeah.
How you going to fall in a comfort zone of not having money?
But that, if you look around, that's what's happening. That's what happened because the question came up where we were talking about the situation that there's going to be jobs going to be lost with this struggle situation going on at the airport, and nobody know how we're going to end up, how we're going to solve here, and it's a lot of politicking behind it. The crew is saying, okay, you're going to pull off the thing from back up, but it's going to create a lot of unfortunate people going to be out of a job. Hundreds of people going to be out of a job. One of the reasons, because there was a commission that I take part in, and where question was asked to these people, and said, well, today we are not running away from Grand Cas Airport because of the 10 euros. It's more to it. Like the old people say, there's more in the matter besides the petrol. Sometimes we don't, but they're not, the general population not here, and I'm wondering at what time that information will come out to tell them that. There was, since the new management of the airport took over the airport, the charges, whether some was employed on the ticket, some was put on the landing fee, but it was an overall raise of 150%. So this guy was suffering that. So they take sometimes just the final straw to break the camel back. So when he come and put on 10 euro on that, without concerning the guy said, well, they said we don't know when they're gonna stop, and that is the main reason behind that issue. But apart from that, for that 10 euro, and you put on that 10 euro so that you could pay for the land that the claim that was buy at a very high price.
Oh my goodness. No.
that will buy at a very high price, it could be reconsidered. And this it would justify the investment. That we have to buy this land so we could turn it over to the concessionaire so he could develop the airport. So I'm thinking in my simplistic mind that this concessionaire that came from so far and have a contract signed, I, in my simple mind, was thinking that, investors come with money. They say, oh boy, this fellow come from far, boy, he come with a lot of money, and he's going to invest and we're going to build the airport. But what I come to understand is that the concessionaire is building the airport from the same money that they are taxing the users there. Well, it didn't have to come from far to do that. We could have done that.
We could have done it ourselves.
And then you got turn around now, and the tax that you put on is to buy land to give to the same concessionaire. So I'm saying I'm looking from a simple. So I know the crazy one in this game has to be me. So I'm technical, and the last thing I said, but how come those people that losing the job are not up and on? Because we are nice people, and we have reached and not have reached to be in the comfort zone where
and that's
we don't have the money,
to
so
our
we go
detriment. Mr. We're coming down to the last couple of minutes in the program, and like I say, whenever we're having a good conversation, the time must fly. But let me ask you this sort of personal question, because I know the relationship you had with the organization, and I'm talking about Team Daniel Gibbs. Do you feel that things would have been a bit different? I'm not going to use the word better, but different when it comes to, we know the big investors that was behind Team Daniel Gibbs, the Canadians with the waterfront project and the marina and different stuff like that, and a boost of investment to, spruce up the country and change up the Marigot coastline and the look of it. Do you feel or believe that things would have been different for the northern side of the island with Team Daniel Gibbs if he was elected?
That is a very easy question to answer, because the Team Daniel Gibbs didn't get elected. So whatever is done now could have been better. But seriously speaking, it's not only the fact of Team, and that's one of the reason that I apart from the incumbent, I were listening and hearing, and I see the will of all the help. But the only group, and that's where I find myself there, that really had a program,
A plan.
that had a plan, were that team. Now, having a program, have that plan, and put it in place is remain to be seen. The fact that we didn't get it is normal. Okay, yeah, we would have met the same situation that was met, but you would have handled it differently. And then moreover, you won't have to concentrate on the fact we ain't got no money. So okay, get money. Start looking elsewhere and stop begging to on the mother country, say they could hand me down, because what they are telling you when they give you all of this liberty is to go on your own. I mean, when you have kids that are grown, that's what they leave your house and they go out, and you miss them, yes, but if they every time that come around lunchtime they're back there to eat, I mean, you give them, as you have the liberty, you're on your own, you have your own apartment, but you have to have that financial liberty too. So go out and get a job, help yourself. I think we take that freedom, but we didn't take the responsibility with it. And we keep looking back, yeah, but France have to bail us out of this because they didn't give us that. As long as we keep moving forward but looking back, we ain't gonna get far.
But you still ain't tell me if you think teams would have been better with Team Daniel Gibbs, though.
I let you to draw your own conclusion.
You see, this is what. Well, then let me throw this last one out at you. When are we going to see you on a list?
Maybe never, because this is the time. No. You see, what you have to realize, when you make your list, when you're young, lists come out, I'm gonna be always there in your corner as advisor.
All right.
I'm gonna be always there as advisor because I think
The man is good.
we could be a better asset of sitting back and watch you guys go forward. Remember, we are the Moses, you are the Joshuas.
The man is good. And this is why I said I have him as a very close friend of mine, confidant, because of the wealth of information. Some other people, we have reached to the end of the program, and this is my good friend, Mr. Raymond Heiliger. I can let you guys know that probably you should give the people in them your number, whoever, because he also does short stories.
Yeah, and
You know?
Facebook, you look for me on Facebook, and
Yeah.
we hope to come back, and we're going to do a program, especially
Right.
on that. We're going to come back with some of the notes, some of the things that I've written about in the past. And I go back from time to time and I rehearse them, and I wonder, so maybe you had that inspiration, because when you have a little more time on your hand, you could do things, you could think. And that's why I want to put that now to the benefit of you young guys that want to take up the battle. We have the experience. You have the energy. Let's combine and go forward.
I couldn't have said it better. So, Martin, people, I want to thank you guys very, very much, Mr. Heiliger. Thank you
Yeah,
very
it's a
much
pleasure.
for being on the
Yeah.
program. And of course, I want you to come back so we can talk a bit more and get in depth. And let me see if I can pull them answers out of the questions when you say you're going to be in the corner. So, Martin, people, take care of yourself. God bless each and every one of you guys. Goodbye.
There was a time when people dare not utter a word. There was a time when people were in the dark and searching for accurate information. Just when all hope is lost and frustration hangs in the balance, SXMTalk emerges and broke the silence. Join host Christopher Emmanuel for live and serious discussions and hard talk.